News Radio,
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
9 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour, U.S. employers added 143,000 jobs last month, which was lower than predicted. The jobless rate also slipped to 4%. Senior economist for Zions Bank, Robert Spenlove, says the report does reflect some of the jobs impacted by the California wildfires, but it does not include any moves President Trump has made to trim down the federal government. The husband of Utah Valley University President Astrid Tuminis has died. This was such a sad event. Jeffrey S. Tolk had experience in international banking and asset management and started his career as a corporate lawyer on Wall Street. The university posted a statement saying, quote, "We will miss him more than words can express." Tolk was just 61 years old. Our top national story this hour from ABC News, another foreign leader at the White House today. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers.
President Trump hosts Prime Minister Ishiba of Japan at the White House today. The two leaders are expected to discuss trade and investment, economic security, and defense industrial cooperation, among other topics, according to White House officials. The Prime Minister is the second world leader to visit the Trump White House, following Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Tuesday. Next week, the president's expected to welcome the King of Jordan and the Prime Minister of India. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
President Donald Trump's nominee for Trade Representative Jamison Greer has local ties. He is a BYU graduate and a lawyer. He is also a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. If confirmed as the trade representative, he will lead key trade negotiations and policy implementation. Your money at this moment. Right now, the markets are off. The Dow is down 274. We're at 44,472. Yes, dark clouds coming in downtown. We've got rain in the forecast for today. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:02. A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Your little one deserves a big welcome. From before the baby bump to baby in your arms, Common Spirit Health OBGYN physicians and certified nurse midwives are here for the labor, the love, and every moment in between. We specialize in prenatal, pregnancy, childbirth, and postpartum care to help you navigate this journey with confidence and joy. So when the big moment arrives, you can welcome baby with the warmest hello of all. Hello, human kindness. mountain.commonspirit.org.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Are they promising you up to 10% growth per year guaranteed for your retirement income? If not, you need a new financial advisor. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hard-working folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 up front or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't work when you're supposed to be retired. And if any financial advisor tells you it's too good to be true, they simply don't have the options we do. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company.
It's the Advanced Window Products President's Day sale. If the cold is seeping in through your old windows, Advanced Window Products will install state-of-the-art double-pane windows with insulated frames. Your home will take on an exciting new look, and you're going to save on your heating bill. And not for nothing, your air conditioning in summer, and right now with the President's Day sale, you save $2,500 off 10 windows or more. For 38 years, Advanced Windows has been building beautiful custom windows and frames right here in Utah. There's no middleman, so you save. So keep out the cold, cut down your energy bills, and save $2,500 with one call to Advanced Window Products. 801-850-9100. An expert comes out for a no-pressure consultation. They'll tell you about the payment plans, including no payments for 24 months. The Advanced Window Products President's Day sale. Get $2,500 off. Call 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100. Or just go to advancedwindows.com.
Salt Lake Community College doesn't just support students, we support the economy.
At Intermountain Health, we've had a partnership with Salt Lake Community College for over 22 years. The Salt Lake Community College graduates bring to us a sense of joy and excitement about the future, which infuses into our culture. My name is Amy Christensen. I'm the chief nurse at Intermountain Health for Utah and Idaho, and I oversee all the nursing services.
SLCC is invested in creating a strong workforce for a strong Utah. See our impact at slcc.edu/community.
Any Hour Services can help you make sure your furnace keeps you warm this winter. Whether you need a tune-up, a repair, or a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's limited time balance transfer bonus. And here's Jason Jones.
Well, the van, which had been tipped on its side, is now off to the side of the road and is all smashed up and getting ready to be put on a tow truck. But at least all the lanes have reopened now, northbound on the west side belt as you head into Davis County and up towards Legacy Parkway. Traffic has returned back to normal there and moving at good speeds. Likewise, over on I-15, north and southbound between Ogden and Payson, it's been clear all morning long in both directions. It remains that way at this point. Just a little bit of crowding as you make that transition onto I-80 at this point. Ballet West Cinderella live with the Ballet West Orchestra. Buy tickets today at balletwest.org. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
We've already had some rain in parts of the Wasatch Front this morning, and we'll have some more this afternoon. Snow in the mountains. The highs will be around 56 today, 43 tomorrow, 41 for Super Bowl Sunday. Right now it's 54 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
And we begin on this Friday morning with a special half hour of the Utah Legislature's ban of collective bargaining for unions across the state of Utah.
Eye on the Hill 2025, special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
And when I saw that this ban was approved, Dave, the first union my mind went to is the Utah Education Association, largest teachers union in the state of Utah. President of the UEA, Renee Pinkney, with swift reaction to the vote.
The passage of HB 267 sub 1 feels like retribution for all, and it is, quite frankly, unfair.
Holly Richardson joins us right now from Utah Policy, the editor there. And Holly, obviously, a swift reaction, as you heard from the UEA, very frustrated. There's been calls for Governor Cox to veto this bill. What's the latest?
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think one of the things that sometimes people forget is it's more than just the UEA. It's firefighters, it's police, it's public sector employees. So if you look at the Deseret News story on this, there's the photo is a picture of a fireman who's been a firefighter who's been up there lobbying against this bill, and he's just like, you can just see in his face how disappointed he is in this outcome. So I think that's one of the issues, right? And while sponsors of the bill say that this actually doesn't stop bargaining from happening, what it does stop is the collective bargaining, and so each individual employee would have to go to their employer to try and work out whatever it is they were trying to get to, whether that's pay or retirement benefits or FMLA leave or whatever it is.
So, Holly, in all practicality, what this would look like, if, for example, if I were a teacher, if my contract was coming up, I would be then on the bubble, if you will, be the one in the hot seat trying to negotiate with my employer for a pay increase and benefits.
Yeah, all of that. And look, I think one of the reasons we had a rise in labor unions is because workers were not able to do that effectively on their own. But when they were able to have an organization that represented them collectively, which is why it's called collective bargaining, that they were able to get some leeway that way. One person, it's draining on that person, and it's intimidating, right? We know that a lot of people aren't that good at negotiating. And B, I mean, just look at the time factor. If you had every single person trying to go in and renegotiate their contract, that's really impossible. It really is not going to happen.
The UEA tweeted out that they're calling on Governor Cox to show up for teachers and to veto this bill. Any indication whether or not the governor is interested in that?
There's no indication to me at all. I know he said he's been watching it and he'll look more closely. The bill did not pass by a veto-proof margin, but that doesn't mean that they wouldn't be able to whip enough votes to be able to override a veto. So we'll see.
And Holly, it seems to me that this is one of the most watched and certainly some of the most attended hearings on Utah's Capitol Hill so far this session. So there is a lot of interest in this.
Thousands and thousands. I mean, people were showing up every single day for the first couple of weeks of the session. We're now almost at the end of week 3. I mean, they just have been there. They've been sending letters by the thousands and emails and phone calls. And honestly, they feel like they haven't been heard, right? Their voices haven't been heard. These are teachers, firefighters, police officers. They just feel like the legislature's not listening to them.
Holly Richardson, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time and your coverage of this. Coming onto the show right now is Senator Kurt Collimore, who's got this passed. Senator Collimore, thank you for taking the time. And we've heard from the teachers union. We've heard their frustration. But I think I'd love to hear from you and maybe break it down for me a little bit, because this is some of the inner workings of teacher pay and salaries that I'm just not very familiar with. What was your reasoning behind bringing this forward?
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I think it's important to note that both labor unions and the concept of collective bargaining was originally designed for the private sector, and that's where negotiations between labor and management are balanced by market forces and the imperative of profitability. But in contrast, in the public sector, it operates totally different, right? And so even FDR, who was a proponent of labor unions in the early 1900s, he even noted that public employee unions should not be a thing. And in fact, he said when you do that, the employer is the whole people who speak by means of laws enacted by their representatives. And so the issue is that public employees and public policy are inextricably linked, and that's really the issue we're dealing with here. When you have a labor union that does collective bargaining, they demand that they are the only negotiator at the table, and they oftentimes don't speak for the entire employee class. And when they're negotiating, government employees negotiating against the government, usually somebody who's not an elected representative, it's the taxpayer who's not at the table, who's left holding the bag. And so this bill doesn't do away with labor unions. It doesn't do away with all the good that labor unions can do for the employees. It doesn't even say that they can't advocate for their employees. It simply does away with collective bargaining and saying that government employers can only negotiate with labor union representatives.
If the governor signs this legislation, Senator, do you see a world where individual teachers, individual firefighters, if they belong to a labor union that does collective bargaining or has done in the past, or police departments or police officers that have memberships within a union that does collective bargaining, are they then in the hot seat to individually go in, knock on the door, and start negotiating their salaries and benefits on their own?
No, that's not how it's going to work. I mean, it's important to note that there's only one fire department or one police department in the entire state that really uses collective.
Yeah, Salt Lake City, correct? Senator, I think we may have lost him. Senator, are you there?
We'll have to reach out and try to reconnect with him, because I think that's a crucial a part of this. And as he was describing private unions, the private sector unions and the public sector unions, what is unique about public sector, for example, is when you're trying to do some collective bargaining, the state largely funds 95% of. Oh, he's back. All right. Yep. Senator Collimore.
Thanks.
Sorry, we lost you for a moment. So maybe you can help me understand. So when the state legislature allocates money for education, it's a big lump sum. That gets divided up and sent to each school district. So it seems to me there is a set amount of money. There's a pool of money that has to be redistributed to each of the teachers. So how do the teachers access that, or how does this change their negotiation to figure out what their salaries are going to be?
Yeah, that's largely correct. I mean, the base funding for education is sent to the school districts. There are other pockets of money that are specifically designated, but yes, for the most part, the base funding goes to the local school districts, and then they figure out how to pay their teachers. Now, this is public money, and it's done through public processes where the school board is usually the one who ultimately makes that decision, but there's administrators that are working with them. And so there's a process for all of this to be heard. And I would note that, I've been in the legislature, this is my 7th session. We've increased the WPU, which is the base school funding, by 56%. And I would ask teachers if their pay's gone up 56%. And the answer is absolutely not. It's closer to about 13%. And in fact, the legislature is directly responsible for 66% of that pay increase that they've got over the last few years because it wasn't happening at the local levels. So we directly appropriated a huge sum of money to go directly to teachers to ensure that their pay went up. And so I would just suggest that that's the public process working. And it wasn't the labor unions that got that. It was local representatives, local school boards that decided we needed to pay teachers more and work the process that way as it should be done.
State Senator Kirk Collimore live on the line with us this morning because we are going in depth on legislation that passed both the House and the Senate, banning collective bargaining for teachers union and other public employee unions. And you were starting to say before we lost your phone call just a few minutes ago that there's one city essentially that does have collective bargaining. And my understanding is that would be the Salt Lake City Police Department employees and then also the Salt Lake City Fire Department. Am I correct with that, Senator?
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay.
And then even among local education unions, they don't all collective bargain. And so there's a process that's working for the vast majority of police and fire departments and even a lot of local education unions that's working just fine without the need for collective bargaining.
So was this then more targeted toward the teachers since there aren't a lot of police and fire departments that do have employees that are collective bargaining?
No, it wasn't directed necessarily at teachers because like we do with a lot of laws, this is preemptive in a lot of respects. There's been a lot of discussions about public employees unionizing and initiating collective bargaining. And so this is more a philosophical difference in understanding how public employees and their wage negotiations should be handled. And so the thought was that collective bargaining is usually a couple people at a table negotiating for public funds, and that this should be more of an open process and to allow more voices at the table to make these public policy decisions.
When you say it's preemptive, I think that probably answers my question, but I see in some reports that most unions here in Utah, in some reports it says 99% of unions don't even use collective bargaining. As you said, is this preemptive, or are we solving a problem that has yet to rear its face?
It is preemptive, and we're not unique in that I think there's about 8 other states that have a ban on collective bargaining for public employee unions. And so it's a trend because we've seen in some states where this is the tool, and it starts making public policy decisions very difficult. On a case-by-case basis, you can argue that, hey, it worked effectively, but when you start doing this in the aggregate, it can lead to huge sums of money being expended without really the taxpayer having much of a say or an interest in the process.
Senator, I think I want to just go back to make sure I'm clear and our listeners are clear on how you envision, as one of the sponsors of this legislation, collective bargaining at the school level for teachers. And I started to say earlier, and again, we lost your phone call, technology is a beast, especially on Fridays. We're talking about, do teachers have to individually go in, or do they go to now they can't collective bargain as a union if they were collective bargaining. So are teachers on the hot seat to do their own bargaining for salaries and benefits in front of, like, for example, the school board?
No, I don't anticipate this is going to be a case by case or a teacher by teacher type negotiation. There's still going to be voices, collective voices that will be heard, representative voices. And again, it doesn't disallow unions from representing their members. All it's saying is that you can't exclusively require that the union representative be the exclusive negotiator on behalf of all teachers.
So who would be the negotiator? Who would select that?
That's teachers are still going to have the opportunity to do that. I'm sure there will be union voices there, but teachers can organize in other ways and get up and represent themselves. Again, this process is being done in many school districts throughout Utah. And so I don't think we're going to have a parade of individual teachers going up there trying to negotiate their individual wages. That's not what's happening right now, where we don't have collective bargaining and we're still going to have people that are going to represent teachers and talk and make their case before policymakers for appropriate wages and wage increases and better working environments.
Does this change in any way the UEA's relationship with the state legislature as they are negotiating or able to meet and set expectations from the UEA's point of view? Does this change the relationship with the legislature?
I don't think so. I mean, at the legislature, you've seen we have a strong commitment to public education. We've increased the public education funding significantly over the last 7-8 years to the tune of billions of dollars. And so we have almost 95% of public education kids in the state of, or I'm sorry, 95% of K through 12 kids in the state of Utah that participate in the public education system in some fashion. So there's nobody up here that wants to neglect that. There's a strong commitment to invest in that. There's strong commitment to work with all stakeholders involved in education. It's just more that there's a recognition that there's more voices in education than just the UEA, who doesn't even necessarily represent a majority of the teachers in the state of Utah.
There were, though, my understanding is thousands of people who either wrote their lawmakers, called their lawmakers, or showed up on Capitol Hill. I mean, this has been one of those hot-button issues up on the Hill that has drawn a lot of people up there to either testify or sit in on hearings, Senator. And the UEA did put out a statement saying they're deeply disappointed, and despite hearing from thousands of public sector workers and our supporters, the majority of Utah lawmakers refused to hear us. What's your reaction to those who feel like lawmakers didn't listen to the wishes of those who did protest this legislation?
Well, first off, it's not uncommon that people opposed to an idea come up and be the louder voice, but there's a lot of taxpayers that are supportive of this idea that also need to be heard. But I would say that one of my frustrations personally in working this bill is the misinformation that was promulgated by a lot of the unions. A lot of the complaints that I heard from teachers and other first responders were simply inaccurate. They were scared about their health care being taken from them. They were scared about different working environments that simply were not even a part of this bill. And so, frankly, that was part of the frustration with this bill, is that we were working on something that would have represented more of a compromise bill, and that messaging was not getting out to the rank and file members of the unions and the people that were hearing solely from their unions in opposition to this bill. And that ultimately led to a compromise not happening because we couldn't get all the unions on the same page. And I think that had a lot to do with the messaging to their members and them not accurately portraying what was happening.
Senator Kirk Cullimore, thank you for taking so much time this Friday morning, stepping away and having this conversation with us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, it gives us some perspective on the decisions that were being made on Capitol Hill. And the reason we're talking about this is because we know that the story is not over yet, that, in fact, we anticipate more coming from the Utah Education Association this afternoon. We are watching to see what Governor Spencer Cox decides to do with this legislation now that it has passed both the House and the Senate. It lands on his desk for either his signature or a veto. But at this point, what we know is that the Utah legislature has banned collective bargaining for teachers' unions and other, public employee unions, and specifically would be like police unions and firefighters unions. And we just heard, in depth from Senator Kirk Cullimore how he sees this playing out if the governor does sign it.
And what we have seen in several reports is that most unions, 99% of unions, according to the Utah Dispatch, they say 99% of unions don't use collective bargaining. And as Senator Kirk Cullimore mentioned, this is more of a preemptive strike, so to speak, to address a problem or a trend that might be in the future.
The newest part of your morning, and still so familiar.
When you wake up and listen to a radio show, it's like you're a part of a family. You're listening in on people you know, and it's magnificent that Andy Farnsworth is sitting in the chair because he's someone we know.
Utah's Morning News. Andy Farnsworth joins Amanda Dixon to bring you important news in the car. 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
Old Spice Swagger Body Wash will make you the MVP of freshness and confidence. With its irresistible scent, it will transform your shower experience, leaving you feeling fresh on and off the field. Pair it with Old Spice Swagger Deodorant, the #1 aluminum-free brand that keeps you feeling like a Super Bowl champion 24/7 when used daily. But don't wait. This dynamic duo is available at Costco for a limited time only. Old Spice, official deodorant partner of the NFL and Super Bowl 59, where freshness meets football greatness.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Discover the timeless value at Duke's Jewelers, a local treasure since 1948. Whether you're searching for a unique engagement ring or need expert watch repair, Duke's has been serving the community for over 75 years. From January 23rd to 25th, don't miss the largest event of the year, a 50% off closeout sale on select jewelry. It's the perfect time to visit and explore the wide selection of custom designs and quality gemstones. The skilled designers at Duke's can bring your dream piece to life, while experienced jewelers handle repairs and modifications in-house. Duke's Jewelers takes pride in value pricing, ensuring you receive the best prices every day. Need an appraisal? The Duke's Jewelers AGS certified gemologist is here to help. Whether it's hand or machine engraving or redesigning old favorites into something new, get personalized service for every occasion. Visit Duke's Jewelers and experience the difference of locally operated expertise and dedication. Duke's Jewelers in Springfield, Utah.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Discover the thrill of winter adventure with Bear Lake Ski Shoring the Bear. Join us for an unforgettable experience on February 21st and 22nd. Whether you're a participant or a spectator, there's excitement for everyone. Spectators get in free, so bring your friends and family to cheer on the competitors. The action kicks off with the first round of races Friday, leading up to the exhilarating final round on Saturday. The top 10 competitors will return to battle it out for the ultimate glory. With no pre-registration needed, simply show up and sign a waiver to join the fun. Compete for a chance to win buckles, cash, and prizes in various divisions. Feel the rush, embrace the challenge, and be part of this unique winter spectacle. Don't miss out on this exciting event. Sign up for ski joring and experience the thrill of racing through the snow. For more information, visit bearlake.org. See you at Ski Joring the Bear.
Jeff Kaplan. When I was a kid, my parents got me a subscription to Newsweek magazine. I would devour every page into the night. And to this day, I sit on my iPad looking for stories for my minute of news, flesh out our coverage, and I get to share the news with you.
Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour, pizzerias across Utah are bracing for the Super Bowl Sunday rush, with orders expected to skyrocket. Brian Horman, regional manager at the Pie Pizzeria, says patience is essential, especially if you're put on hold.
Most of our stores will have upwards of 5 phone lines, and sometimes it'll feel like you're on hold. We have different hold music that's playing. Don't hang up because that puts you at the back of the line.
Horman also notes a big spike in chicken wing sales and highly recommends giving them a try. Philadelphia Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni may take more risks during the Super Bowl than Kansas City head coach Andy Reid, according to a BYU study. BYU statistics professor Nate Sandholt says their study looked at NFL play-by-play data and
flipped it on its head, essentially. We said, let's pretend the coach's behavior is correct. That's the solution that we should arrive at. Now we just got to come up with a problem that when we solve it, it gives what the coaches did. And in order to make that work out, you've got to let them have different risk preferences that they optimize.
Their data found Coach Sirianni is one of the riskiest coaches in the league on fourth down, while Coach Reid is somewhere in the middle of the pack. Our top national story this hour from ABC News, billions of Americans will be wagering on the outcome of Super Bowl 59, whether it's an office pool, a betting app, or a Las Vegas sportsbook. But don't forget about so-called prop bets.
Among the Super Bowl incidentals that you can lay money on, how many beers will be sold at the Caesars Superdome during the game? Which song will Kendrick Lamar lead off with at halftime? What color Gatorade will the winning coach be wearing after the game? And will Travis Kelce propose to Taylor Swift? Oddsmakers say he won't.
ABC's Jim Ryan reporting. Your money at this moment, the Dow is off this morning, down 254 right now. We're at 44,492. Coming up, we have a storm coming in, if it's not here already where you live. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:32.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
One of the things I love about Salt Lake City Fat Loss is the constant communication. When I joined the program last year about this time, I would get a daily reminder, whether it was a text or a video, some sort of message that said, hey, this is why you're doing this on the program. And it would walk me through the science behind it, the reasoning. And then I started seeing these incredible results. Salt Lake City Fat Loss said they had the secret to losing a pound of fat per day on the program. And sure enough, that's almost exactly what I found. 57 pounds in 60 days. The 60 days is a reduction phase. So for 60 days, you're really focused on figuring out your bad habits, the habits that you have, and then just being very, very smart with the way you eat. And then you will see every single day, stepping on that scale, these incredible results. And like I said, 57 pounds in 60 days on the Salt Lake City Fat Loss program for me, without injections, without any surgery. So go ahead and reach out and schedule a free consultation. Right now in February, you're going to get an extra $200 off the program. All you have to do is schedule that free consultation. Go to slcfatloss.com.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's limited time balance transfer bonus. And here's Jason Jones.
And no trouble at all along the Wasatch Front. It's been a fairly light commute for your Friday morning, and it remains that way at this point. Lots of school districts are out, and that's helping as well. We do see some sporadic rain falling around some parts of the Salt Lake Valley, but so far, none of it is causing any delays at all. If you are northbound or southbound on I-15 between Payson and Ogden, you should be rolling at good speeds through the entire stretch at this point. Lagoon is hiring full-time year-round ride maintenance technicians and electricians with journeyman or apprentice level experience. Apply online at lagoonpark.com/jobs. Must be 18 years of age or older to apply. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
If you haven't seen any rain or snow yet today, you likely will sometime this afternoon. We've got a good chance of it. The highs will be 56 down here in the valley. Right now, let's see what our current temperature is. Right now, we're at 54 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Are you holding off either getting married or having kids because of financial reasons? I want to talk about this Deseret News article. It's entitled, "What is the biggest challenge for American families?" And our friend and colleague at the Deseret News, Lois Collins, gets the credit for writing and reporting on this. She couldn't be with us this morning, so I've taken upon myself, Dave, to bounce this article off of you. But of course, you can read it for yourself, as always, at Deseret.com. But let's just go over some of the points that jumped out at me when I saw this. She's looking at the latest American Family Survey. And one of the things that really bubbles to the top in this and concerns among individuals is that over 70% of people who took the survey said economic challenges are a major concern, and this is up astronomically from 10 years ago. It's up 20% from 10 years ago. 20% had to borrow money to pay bills. 12% can't afford food or medical care. 3% of those who responded have stayed in shelters.
So it's just the overwhelming concern of families right now, just financial, or is this saying the reason people aren't getting married or having families or having children is because they're concerned about all of these economic pressures?
So married couples were 20% less likely to experience economic crises, and nearly 60% of married couples say they earn above $80,000 a year. But I think the thing is I do feel like people are struggling with the decision to get married or have kids because they're worried about finances. And here, this information where they actually ask people, are they more worried than they were 10 years ago? It's got to play into it, right?
Yes, especially as you see in the last 5 years what the cost of housing has become, right? Because we used to have housing, used to be a chunk of our monthly budget, and now it feels like it's the overwhelming share of the monthly budget. It's the biggest bill by far. Now, that's always been the case. Your mortgage has always been the most expensive. But when we see housing going through the roof, used cars going through the roof, new cars going through it's $50,000 for a new car. The average cost of a used car is $24,000. Like, these are the economic pressures that are landing on us. So it absolutely makes sense that the economy, what's going on, salaries, all of that is a major pressure when it comes to families.
Okay, so I want to go back to your point as I'm looking at this article a little more deeply. You asked, like, is this impacting whether people are actually getting married or they're staying single? And this news report cites fewer people are forming families. Millennials and Gen Zs are showing lower marriage rates. Birth rates are declining below population replacement level. So, this just seems like the unfortunate perfect storm, and at the top of the list of reasons why people are not as anxious about getting married, are concerned about having kids, is because they feel like they can't afford life. I once had one of my kids tell me this many years ago. She said, "Wouldn't life be grand if we didn't have to worry about money?" But that is one of the top concerns. It's why people lose sleep. It's why people lose their homes. It's why people skip meals. It's money. And when it feels like everything is costing more. I mean, maybe we can find something that's costing a little bit less, but, we often kind of joke about the price of eggs and, it's still the cheapest protein. But when you look at that, Oh, it's 99 cents. And last night at the grocery store, first of all, there was one grocery store I was at, I couldn't find an egg. You know, if I wanted eggs, I'd have to buy the egg whites. Another grocery store I was at, I thought it was $4.99 a dozen. And, you know, I almost like dropped to my knees and thanked my lucky stars when I found out when I got to the register they were only $3.99 a dozen.
Empty that place out.
But you talked about cars. You talked about, you know, we've talked about insurance rates are higher, the cost of college, the cost of weddings to get married. It's so, and it's not, and if you look back at this nearly 60% of married couples earn above $80,000 annually. Well, let's just say you're between 80 and 100 grand as a married couple, which 20 or 30 years ago would have felt like a windfall, right? We're rich. We're living off six figures. After taxes, after expenses, after you try to save a little bit for retirement because there's no longer a pension for you. It does feel like there's a really strong headwind that's not helpful to couples.
In my experience, and I can only speak from my experience, is finances played zero role when it came to getting married and having children because we got married in college. And do you know who's the most broke individual in the world? The college student. But we got married nonetheless, right? Because we looked into the future and said, okay, sure, would it make more sense to have a career and make some money and be financially stable? Well, if those are their requirements, I wasn't financially stable once I got out of college. I wasn't financially stable years after being in college. And if I kept putting off all these big decisions to get married, to have children, until there was financial security, then I would have waited 20 years. Right? At some point, I just had to make the leap and say, we'll figure it out. And guess what we did? We figured it out, even as expenses skyrocketed.
Okay. Do you ever remember a time when you were going into adulthood and your parents said, well, when I got started in life, you know, one of the things I've learned parenting adult kids is whatever applied to me 35 years ago doesn't apply to them. You know, my $70,000 or $72,000 two-bedroom, 1,100 square foot townhome with a garage and a washer and dryer that came with the unit does not apply to the $550,000 or $600,000 home that they have to get in today. My car that cost, you know, $13,000 or $14,000 to buy doesn't apply to them today. So also, like, salaries, I don't think are keeping up with the pace of the rising cost of everything. So I have a hard time applying my situation in 1991, where my rent was $400 a month for when I was renting an apartment for a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 1,100 square foot place in South Salt Lake, all utilities included, to a $1,600 a month rent payment, 1 bathroom, utilities not included, which are what our kids are paying today. And our broke college students just can't afford that, and they also are having a hard time affording their student loan payments. So I don't see the connection, Dave, anymore. I just don't.
Well, there's an economies of scale too when you're in a relationship and when you're married. Right, it costs essentially the same to feed one person as it does two. You know, you're not paying for two apartments that you're living in. You know, there's some, as you saw right here, most married people are making over $80,000 annually. If you're just one person, then maybe you're only making $40,000 annually. So I just think when you're looking at the finances, there's reasons outside of finances to get married and have children. I think finances weigh too heavily in our decisions.
Oh, that's a great question to ask our listeners. Do you agree with Dave? Money is weighing way too heavily in our relationship decisions. And you're making a decision, maybe you made a decision not to move forward with marriage or not to move forward with having children. Is finance playing too big of a role in our big life decisions like marriage and having babies? 801-575-TALK, your live calls next.
Finally Friday.
I know you're sick of the political climate, and every day you fight a hopeless war. I know you think your girlfriend hates you in secret, but don't take it out on.
If you've ever set New Year's resolutions before, you know how difficult it is to follow through because you have to wait to see the results. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and in honor of your New Year, New You resolutions, Any Hour Services is having our New Year, New System sale. From now until the end of February, Any Hour Services will give you $2,025 off a new furnace and air conditioner. And you don't have to wait to save the money. You get $2,025 off at the time of purchase. The only thing you have to do to qualify for our New Year, New System sale is call Any Hour Services and schedule a free estimate. When you call, there's no obligation to buy. Just schedule a time to meet that works best for you. Let me say that again. From now until the end of February, when you have Any Hour Services install a new furnace and air conditioner, we'll give you $2,025 off. Call Any Hour Services right now and schedule a free estimate. 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. Exclusively at a Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-292-7788. 800-292-7788.
Dave, and Dujanovic.
Well, Dave and I are talking about this big survey that comes out, and Lois Collins, our friend and colleague at the Deseret News, has written an article about it. And I think several articles, in fact, at Deseret.com. But this one really pinpoints that economics, finances, bogging down people in terms of making a decision to get married or have kids. We're taking your live phone calls. Finances, money playing way too big of a role in your major life decisions. And are you bugged by that? 801-575-TALK. Give us a call.
That's exactly what I think is happening. Again, 801-575-TALK. I think finances are driving long-term relationship decisions. Oh, I can't get married until I get out of college, or I'm not ready to focus on dating in college because I want to focus on my education. So maybe I'm not setting aside enough time to date, enough resources, enough money to date because I want to get through college, I want to get a good job, and then I will start paying attention to getting into a relationship. Or maybe you're newlyweds and you're trying to figure out, okay, well, should I have children? Well, can we afford it? Listen, there's not a parent in the history of the world that could ever afford a child. And then even once you have kids, you're like, I still can't afford them.
I forgot to budget for daycare expenses when we were making a decision to have children. I did. I was like, oh, that's a little bit of money. Good thing I didn't think about that. Should have thought about it, but good thing. But now it's in our faces all the time. You and I have talked extensively about the cost of daycare. That's got to be something else that's weighing on people's minds as they get married and are making decisions about having children. And then, well, can we afford to have a third child? And do we want a fourth child? And then what if they all want to go to college? And then what if they all want to get married at the same time?
Okay, so that's another layer where I think we look way too far in the future. We're like,
Agreed.
Well, if I have a kid, am I going to set up what's the
529?
The 529. Yeah, am I going to set up the 529 and start saving for college and then set aside for missions or marriage or college? All of these things, like, listen, all you need to worry about is paying for diapers. Just take one step at a time. Can you afford diapers? Let's go to Jordan in Eagle Mountain. Do you think we make too many decisions, relationship decisions, on how our finances are doing?
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you. Just from my own personal experience, I put off family, I put off kids and marriage, and I pursued the job for a long time, but I didn't really get the sort of results that I was expecting to get by putting all my energy in those things. And it wasn't until after getting married and having kids that things kind of fell into perspective, and I could manage my finances with better priorities, and ended up being just fine.
Oh, that's awesome. And how old are your kids, Jordan?
So I have 3 kids, and they're 3, 1, and then 2 weeks.
Oh, awesome.
Talk about diapers.
Yeah, we got it done about.
Well, it's a hard stage to be in as parents, certainly, but it's also a super fun stage. So congratulations on your newborn as well. Married couples, according to this Deseret News article, Dave, were 20% less likely to experience economic crises.
Oh, okay. So that actually makes sense, because when you're working together, two brains are better than one. What I have found, though, when it comes to economic crises, is you have double the resources now, in the sense you have double the options. Perhaps we both can pick up another side hustle or another job, or there are so many more options, I think, when you have a spouse than when you're single. It can be difficult.
I think there's accountability, too. That comes into it.
That was a big one for me.
Well, I know. That's why I'm saying
That's
that.
why I'm staring at you, Dave.
Oh, I think it's a big one for a lot of people. And it works both ways. I think when you're accountable to somebody else, we had this little handshake policy in place where if a purchase was going to be over $100, of course, nowadays you sneeze and it costs you $100. But back then, $100.
That's toilet paper at Costco.
$100. We had to make contact with one another before we went out and did that. And it really stemmed from an experience that we had early on in our marriage. When we're blending our finances together, and I came bebopping through the door one day, and he's like, "Oh, I bought those tires." I'm like, what tires? That's not an expensive purchase. I just wasn't looped in at the moment, and he looped me in. I was like, "Oh, we're going to figure out how to get that taken care of." But we just had this understanding that it's like, you can spend money. It's, again, we got to stay within our budget. But if it comes to a bigger purchase, now would probably be a little bit more than that. We got to touch base with each other, and we both can't be out doing that for every single day all month long. We have to be conscientious about that. But we held each other accountable that way.
Yeah, that's hugely helpful. That's exactly how it played out in my family as well, right? The things that I used to be like, "Oh, I'll just do that," and okay, there's more responsibility to that family dollar than just Dave's dollar. Dave's dollar was spent very easily. The family dollar, not so much. But one of the things I loved when Jordan was talking about his young family, what I didn't realize, my wife and I were just talking about this, when you have little ones, they're the evening entertainment. We didn't need to go out to a movie. It was just throw the kids in the middle of the room, and they were just so fun to watch and play with that was the family's entertainment.
So it's not all roses, though, and rainbows for a lot of families. According to this American Family Survey, many families, in fact, raising a family emerged as the top concern for American families last year when they were asked this question. So the cost of raising a family is what is, top of mind for people. 20% borrowed money to pay bills. 12%, over 12% couldn't afford food or medical care. Up to 5% struggled with housing costs, and 3% stayed in shelters. So I guess when we look at, we worry about the long term, yeah, we do spend a lot of time worrying, like looking down the road and being worried, like, we'll be able to afford housing, or we'll be able to afford a car, we'll be able to afford college. But these are some real problems families are experiencing right now, because there has been what felt like runaway inflation. I mean, I don't know if that meets the economic definition of it, but everything costs more. And this isn't necessarily a new thing. I mean, when I bought my first townhome in 1990, whatever, it was really inexpensive. I mean, I thought it was expensive at the time, but you talk about like $70,000-ish for something like that. Well, today I should look it up, see how much those are selling for. It's probably selling for close to $500,000. But yet salaries haven't kept up with the pace of housing. But there's some real issues facing people. When you talk about 12% couldn't afford food or medical care, this isn't, I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford my child's wedding in 20 years. This is, how am I going to put a meal on the table today? So I think we have a ways to go in figuring out how to make, or how will families feel financially sound, going into the next year, going into 2025.
One of our texters says, our parents had to choose to move forward after World War II, for example. It's critical that people form families and move forward in life. I've never had that chance. Life alone as an old single is not fun. And sometimes we look so far into the future, we look too far in the future, but sometimes we don't look far enough into the future and say, okay, listen, you have to maybe pay a lot of money, to find the right person or invest in that. But the long-term consequences are wonderful. Having a great relationship is something you can't really put a price on. So, hey, thank you so much for the phone calls. Thank you for the text. We appreciate it. But I think it's an interesting article. If you want to go to the Deseret News, you can tap into this. What's the biggest challenge for American families? That's what the article is in the Deseret News.
At KSL News Radio, we have a 30-year legacy of honoring Utah teachers, but we can't do it without your help. Please tell us about an important teacher in your life on the KSL Teacher Tribute Wall, presented by Cypress Credit Union. Each month, one lucky teacher wins a $500 gift card from Cypress Credit Union, a $250 gift card to Harmon's, plus season tickets to Hale Center Theater. Say thanks to your teacher today at kslnewsradio.com/teacher from Cypress Credit Union and KSL News Radio.
Hi, I'm Ty Detmer. We buy our jewelry from Sierra West Jewelers because of the great service, large selection, the diamond education, and the lowest prices. Sierra West Jewelers offers a VIP service package that my wife and I love. The VIP package includes free lifetime warranty, 50% off men's band with purchase of engagement ring, a free electric ring cleaner, a free $50 gift card to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, plus 14 other free services. Buy at Sierra West Jewelers. I promise you'll never regret it.
Hello, this is Tim Branscombe, founder and president of Sierra West Jewelers. If you're looking for that special gift or if you need it custom made, come to Sierra West Jewelers, where we have the largest selections of rubies, sapphires, and emeralds, diamond earrings, bracelets, and pendants. Only at Sierra West Jewelers in our quality and our VIP service. Sierra West Jewelers across from the mall in Sandy, Orem, and Murray, or at sierrawestjewelers.com.
This President's Day, plan to relax with Bullfrog Spas. At our huge President's Day sale, you'll get exclusive factory savings up to $3,000 off MSRP, coupled with an instant factory rebate of up to $2,000. Plus, with special 36-month financing available, luxury and comfort are more convenient than ever. Act now to save big. Don't miss your chance to turn your backyard into a retreat of tranquility with a fully customizable hot tub from your nearest Bullfrog Spas factory store.
Bullfrog Spas. Peaceful body, peaceful mind, peaceful home.
Boy, right after the holidays, everyone needs a little cash, right?
Oh, yes.
We have great news for you. Right now, UCCU, Utah Community Credit Union, will pay you for your auto loan and credit balances. So all you have to do is just transfer your auto loan or your credit card balance to UCCU. And on top of giving you a low interest rate, which will save you money, UCCU will give you 1% cash back up to $250 on every loan you transfer.
Amanda, as soon as I heard about this, I said, I'm in this exact situation. I transferred. I actually had to have 2 loans to get my car a year ago.
Yeah.
Long story. Got it consolidated into one, and they paid me 1% back for each thing. I've got 1 payment now instead of 2. It's so much easier, and it took me maybe basically an hour. I just went straight to the website. I applied. They said, you got to send me these documents. I did, and all of a sudden, within a couple of days, I had it all set.
This is how easy they are to work with, always looking for ways to help you and your family. You can find out more on the UCCU mobile banking app or just go to uccu.com/transfer. Utah Community Credit Union. You're going to love where you bank.
The Western Hunting and Conservation Expo is coming to Salt Lake City February 13th to 16th. It's the biggest hunting show in the West, featuring Utah's top 200 hunting permits for just $5 each application. Visit with hundreds of exhibitors and see Rodney Atkins perform live. Get discount admission at Sportsman's Warehouse, Les Schwab Tires, Bass Pro Cabela's, and Utah's Toyota dealers. And best of all, you can apply to hunt Utah's biggest bucks and bulls for just $5 each. The Hunting Expo is brought to you by the Utah Office of Tourism. Get tickets and details at huntexpo.com.
Hey Utah, it's the water boy, Colson Firmage here, a third-generation Culligan man. Are you tired of hard water wreaking havoc on your home? At Culligan Water, we offer top-rated water softening solutions that protect your appliances, keep your skin feeling soft, and make your water taste amazing. My grandfather started working at Culligan in Salt Lake City over 50 years ago, and Culligan is your trusted local water expert. Some would say we're the godfather of water systems. Do you know if your old water system is even running correctly? Give us a call today and schedule a free water test of your current system, any make or model. Just give us a call at 801-509-9602 or visit us online at culliganslc.com. In addition, receive $500 off a water softener, plus get free salt delivery for a year. Again, that's $500 off a water softener, plus get free salt delivery for a year. Enjoy cleaner, softer water and experience the Culligan difference. Call 801-509-9602 or visit us online at culliganslc.com. Culligan, water you love.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour, a quick storm is blowing into the state right now, bringing rain, snow, and colder temperatures.
The bulk of the storm will hit in the afternoon. KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson says we should get a good amount of snow in the mountains.
Northern mountains, a solid 5 to 10 inches. Central mountains, 4 to 8. And the Bryan Head Eagle Point area down in southern Utah, picking up just a little bit of snow. We're talking about 1 to 3 inches.
Johnson says we could get up to 1/4 inch of rain and snow in the valleys of northern and central Utah. Verl Johansson, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story this hour from ABC News, 19 attorneys general from across the country are before a judge right now, asking the judge to prevent President Trump's executive order ending birthright citizenship from taking effect. Here is New Jersey Attorney General Matthew Platkin making his argument.
Birthright citizenship, which was enshrined in the 14th Amendment in the wake of the Civil War, because this country said we no longer want to have a debate about whether children born on United States soil are entitled to the rights and privileges of American citizenship. We settled that debate 157 years ago.
We will let you know when the judge makes a ruling. Scouting America's Crossroads of the West Council will host their annual Scouting for Food event this weekend. The food drive partners with local businesses and organizations to help Utahns facing hunger. All donations will be collected and distributed to food banks, pantries, and shelters across the state. Your money at this moment, the Dow is down 297 now. That's about 0.7%. We're at 44,446. Coming up, how long will today's storm last? KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:02. Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio. It's the movie show, guys. Andy Farnsworth and Steve Sales. We're broadcasting live today from NPS in Salt Lake City at 1600 Empire Road. They've just opened their doors, and people are streaming into their favorite spot in the store because the people who come in early, Steve, they already know exactly where they're going. Some go hit the books, which are $2 each. Some go straight to the soft drinks, which are $4 for $1. Some come to the clothing. That's where I always like to go, is to check out the clothing. But they've got great deals on everything every single day, 20 to 70% off retail. On retail items, and then prices on grocery that just can't be beat.
Well, with Valentine's Day coming up, we've got a whole array of fresh flowers right by the front door. I mean, amazing.
Yeah, that's why it smells so good right now as you walk in.
It's not just me.
$1.99 for flowers.
$1.99 for selected flower bouquets.
Wow.
I mean, that is amazing. And you know what? It's such a good price. You could give some flowers today to just get in good, and then give a bunch of flowers next Friday, and you're golden. Because there's different colors, too. You could save the red ones for next Friday. Maybe pick up some beautiful orange ones or some pink ones today. Like, oh, look how much I love you. I wanted to get you these colored flowers.
and then she'll be like, oh, then next week, you blow her away with a couple dozen reds.
There you go.
But you got other deals, too. We got grocery. We got all those kinds of things we can talk about. What are a couple of good grocery deals for people who come into NPS while the movie show's here?
Oreo or
chocolate sandwich cookies that you may have heard of, which are what? $1.99 for the family size pack, the 1 pound package of chocolate sandwich cookies for $2. Great deals. What else? I see some bacon cheddar potato shreds. Oh, you got some great things. Plus, I know you're going to have movie show only deals along with the great deals that you guys have. Is this a game?
It's a game, yes.
We got a rom-com trivia night for trivia game for a night in. This is the kind of stuff you can find food, you can find deals on clothing, all kinds of things. We'll be here at NPS until 1 o'clock today, so come in and say hi to the movie show at 1600 South Empire Road, or check out NPS deals at 1150 North Main in Layton and 475 North State in Orem.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, today through Sunday. 2 locations, Sandy and Hurricane. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, today through Sunday. Mountain America Expo Center. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Washington County Legacy Park. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Washington County Legacy Park. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. 2 locations, Sandy and Hurricane. Today, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain America Expo Center, Washington County Legacy Park. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandswimspasale.com.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's limited time balance transfer bonus. And here's Jason Jones.
Well, we see some inclement weather up on US 40 just south of Heber. In fact, there's a vehicle that has slid off the side of the road and is behind a snow embankment and whatever. And it's not likely to amount to emergency traffic, but I just tell you this to remind you that this afternoon when the weather hits the Wasatch Front, you might want to slow down a little bit and use some caution when you're driving around, because otherwise you're going to end up in a snowbank maybe, and who needs that aggravation, really. Otherwise, though, everything else is looking pretty decent along the Wasatch Front, with no problems on I-15 or the major feeders over to I-15 as well. Teens can get up to $200 with a Teen Learn and Earn account, plus continue earning rewards as they master the essentials of finance. More at cypresscu.com/teen. Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
We're seeing some scattered rain and snow in northern Utah right now. The temperatures will drop this afternoon. Some of that rain could turn to snow in the valley, and the storm should move out by tomorrow, just leaving a few clouds behind. Right now it's 54 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
It's Super Bowl weekend. First of all, I'm throwing a Super Bowl party. It's been a while, but I'm throwing a big Super Bowl party, Dave. But what we're looking at right now is the fact that a Super Bowl ticket, if you want to go to the game in New Orleans, will cost you more than your monthly mortgage payment.
Yikes.
We're going to break it down.
Oh, man. Well, it depends on how many people you take, right? If you take the entire family, it's going to be more than probably your kid's education. It is so expensive to go to the Super Bowl. But listen, I don't know why we demonize going to the Super Bowl and how much it costs, because all I see this week is people wringing their hands. Look how expensive it is to go to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Have you ever looked at what a vacation to Australia costs? It's a Super Bowl, folks, right? But we don't think anything about going down to Australia and trying to catch a view of a Hemsworth, right? We're totally fine with that.
On that note, I want to pitch for phone calls right now. 801-575-TALK. What is the most expensive event you've ever gone to? I want to hear all about it. I'm cheap with my money, so I don't go to really pricey events. I will sit in the what is it, like the field out at USANA. What is that area? The grass area.
Yeah, the grass area. Yeah, general admission.
Yeah, to save
The
$40.
lawn.
I might even sit in my car.
Roll down the windows.
Yeah. 801-575-TALK. And if you've been to the Super Bowl, you go to the front of the call line. What is that most expensive experience you've ever had? How much did it cost you? I love this New York Times comparison. We've been talking about the price of life today. Well, this fits right into it. So the New York Times, Dave, broke down how much a monthly mortgage payment is in the two cities where their teams are going to the Super Bowl, Kansas City and Philadelphia, the Chiefs and the Eagles. What your monthly mortgage payment would be there on average compared to the price of a Super Bowl ticket. By the way, what is the price right now? Have you checked?
Yeah. It's about $4,000, $3,000 for the cheap one.
And it's going down in price a little bit, right, as it gets closer to the game?
Well, for some reason, last year was bonkers. It was like $8,000 for a seat.
But that's because it was in Vegas, I think.
Yeah.
I think that had something to do with it. I don't know. It's in New Orleans. I think New Orleans is a great city to visit. I love the beignets. Fun town to visit. But $4,800 is what I'm seeing as of the end of January. But I think you're saying it's even a little less expensive than that.
Yeah, you can get a terrace level 20th row, $3,000 on Ticketmaster.
Are you contemplating?
Okay, so I've been to the Super Bowl a couple of times for work.
Oh,
so let me
okay.
clarify there. I have not sat in the seats. I have not shelled out the $3,000 it takes to go to the game. I went to Indianapolis, and then I went to one in Phoenix, Arizona. So I've been to a couple for work, and I can speak a little bit to what the experience is like if you're interested.
I am.
Okay, so a couple of things. Number one, outrageously expensive everywhere.
Okay.
So it's $3,000 for a ticket, but if you want to go get a hotel room, hotel rooms double, triple, quadruple the price. It was incredible. So if you were to park anywhere, you could park on the moon, it was going to cost you $100. Like that's how you are parking so far away. The shuttle system, it's kind of a disaster. What they do have is a lot of cool things surrounding during the week surrounding the Super Bowl.
Oh,
so
it's like events.
They have events. You can go. You can do a little punt, pass, and kick. You can see a ton of memorabilia. There's a lot of people signing autographs. So for the hardcore sports fan, it's very cool, very fun. They have speakers. They have people you can meet.
Fun.
So there's some cool stuff around the Super Bowl. Obviously very popping. But going into the game itself, this is what I thought was very, very interesting. You forget, because most of us watch the Super Bowl on TV. There's so much pomp and circumstance and lights and music. You don't have any of that at the game. Once you go to the game, it's just another game. It's two teams playing, and you're just watching a football game.
So the experience that I have for my living room, watching it on the flat screen, is far different than what you're experiencing in person. And you're just like, it's just a normal game.
Yeah, it's just a normal football game.
From home, I'm watching this amazing, like, graphically produced special with all kinds of, and the cool Super Bowl commercials. You don't get to see those.
No commercials, right?
Okay.
The one thing that is extremely unique to actually going to the game is the halftime show. Now, you'll watch the halftime show, and it sounds great. But being a part of that halftime show, it is straight up a concert. I saw Madonna, and I saw Katy Perry.
Awesome.
So those were the two, and they were phenomenal.
Oh, that's fun.
Madonna was, it was insane. It was so exciting. And I'm not even a fan of Madonna or Katy Perry, but I loved the shows.
So the New York Times, let me bounce this off you. They say in Kansas City, the typical monthly mortgage payment is $1,500 a month.
Why aren't we living in Kansas City?
The ticket cost, Super Bowl ticket cost equivalent, is more than 3 times the monthly mortgage payment for Kansas City. In Philadelphia, the typical monthly mortgage payment is a little under $1,900 a month. The ticket cost equivalent is 2.6 times a monthly mortgage payment. So it's going to cost you like 2.5 times your monthly mortgage payment if you live in Philly to pay for one Super Bowl ticket, and 3 times your monthly mortgage payment if you live in Kansas City to go cheer on the Chiefs, compared to your monthly mortgage payment. Wow. Yeah. You got to make sure it's worth it.
The NFL was offering a direct package where you could get a Super Bowl ticket, then they take care of your airfare, your housing, for the bargain price of $6,700 per person.
Okay, what is that most expensive experience that you've ever paid for? Like, did you travel somewhere? Did you go on a 30-day cruise? Did you go to USANA Amphitheater and watch Chris Stapleton like I did? I mean, I don't pay for experiences the way some people do. So I'm curious, how much have you forked out for an experience? 801-575-TALK.
Let's jump out to Todd in West Valley. Was it a concert? Was it a sporting event? Was it a vacation?
Well, mine was was a concert, but you made me laugh, Dave, when you said, why aren't we living in Kansas City? You obviously have not been to Kansas City.
We've got good barbecue.
Great barbecue.
We have great barbecue here.
Okay. All right.
Okay, but my concert was the Rolling Stones, and when the average ticket to a concert was $30, wow, I forked out $125.
What year?
Yeah.
When did you? Since they've been playing for 50 years, when did you see the Rolling Stones?
Well, I would say back when Keith Richards was alive, but he's been alive for 200 years.
I was going to say Keith's still around, buddy.
Yeah, I would say it was 30 years ago.
Oh, so
I would have loved to have seen the Stones. Yeah.
I gotta be honest. I was trying to hawk them.
Oh, you were?
And it didn't work out. So I sold the cheap ones, and I got to smell Mick Jagger's breath.
Oh, wow.
He was belting it out.
Thanks, Todd. Let's. Apparently, you have to be named Todd to get on the show today. Let's flip the line over to Todd in Far West. Hi, Todd.
Hello.
So what's your pricey experience that you paid for?
So about 10 years ago, 2016, I paid for tickets for the wife and I to go down for an anniversary to see REO Speedwagon at Tuacahn. And we were only about 2 rows from the stage. So it was close enough you could feel the sweat coming off the performers' bodies.
Oh, that's really close. But here's the deal. Todd, stay with me for a second. I've seen, 80s bands recently. Are they as good as they were? Are they as good as they were in the 80s?
They were. That
Really?
concert was incredible. In fact, I got to see him again at USANA a couple of years later. We won some tickets again to go see him with Chicago. And we were in the free section up on the grass that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that's me.
And that concert was nothing compared to the one at Tuacahn because it was just them at Tuacahn. And they played for about 3 hours.
That's wonderful. Awesome.
Hardest working band of the 70s and 80s. They were playing just about every single night. That is a hard-working band. I actually went to the Speedwagon last year as well, Todd, and you're right. They put on a great show. $300 per ticket. That's what he said, $300 per ticket. Mm-hmm. So could you add another zero to that? Could you cough up $3,000 per ticket to go to the Super Bowl?
Okay, so here is my bucket list. I do want to do a Super Bowl. I'll probably go alone. Sorry, I'm not going to I'm not going to pay for anybody else to go with me. It's going to be a solo experience. If you want to pay for your own ticket, that's fine. I don't know what I'll probably wait till the last minute. I'm one of those. I'll wait till the last minute to see if prices drop, and then I'll grab myself a ticket. I worry about what happened to you. I worry about getting scammed. I do worry about that. You didn't have that happen at the Super Bowl. You just had it for concert tickets.
Yep.
So I want to be conscientious about that, clearly. I have to figure out what my price point is. But I do have a couple of other goals. I want to go to Wimbledon because I love tennis. I played it for years. I want to go to the U.S. Open, tennis. I want to go to every single baseball stadium across the nation, MLB Stadium. I know Dave's looking at me like, what is wrong with you?
No, I'm saying
and then I want to go to the World
agree
Series.
100%. Everything you've said.
I don't know who's got the budget for this, but I'm going to figure this out. These are just bucket lists, right? So I've got a long time, I hope, to work that all out. But those are just some. It's all expensive. So for Wimbledon, I got to fly to London, right?
Yep.
For the U.S. Open, I got to fly to New York, which I can do. I can drive. I will drive to New York. Every single baseball stadium in the nation. Okay, that's going to be a road trip.
Yep.
RV. Oh, I'm just sleeping in the back of my RAV4.
Yeah, there you go.
What RV? Who's driving that? I'm not. I'm sleeping in the back of my RAV4, Dave, in Walmart parking lots if they let me. So maybe getting an occasional hotel room. I can do this on the discount. But I got to plan it all out. But those are some of my big experience plans that I want to take. I got to get beyond USANA. I love it there, but that's like usually like my big thing for the year is a concert like you go to as well.
This is how you justify the Super Bowl tickets. Because when you look at the REO Speedwagon tickets for $300 or Stones tickets back in the day, 30 years ago, $125, those are $500 or $800 tickets now. This is how you justify it, though. You have to look at the Super Bowl in the same light as you would look at as a flight to Europe or a huge vacation to Italy. To go to St. Peter's Basilica, right? You have to look at it as this is a huge vacation for us, and we're going to spend several $1,000s, and that's just the cost of having that experience. And for huge football fans, it may be worth it. This is the downside to the Super Bowl. If I want to go to the Super Bowl next year, I don't know if my team's going to go to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Right? I would pay probably a premium price to go see the Dallas Cowboys, but we would never do that with a concert, right? We wouldn't say, hey, here's $1,000 for the chance to see one of 30 artists.
Okay, hold on. We know that the Dallas Cowboys probably won't be in the Super Bowl for a little while. So you got plenty of time to save money.
You're the meanest person I know. Why would you say that?
I speak the truth.
Why would you say that? You're not wrong, but it's mean to say it.
I don't mean it to be mean. I'm just
it's
saying
like when you run into the ugly person, you're like, you don't need to say it. You just let them be ugly.
Danielle, bail me out. What's the priciest experience you've ever paid for?
We went on a trip to Kauai in Hawaii.
Okay.
Last year, and both of us are frugal people. Anyway, we dropped like $800 each, so $1,600 for a helicopter ride. Just the helicopter ride. That's not all the stuff that we paid to get there and the other stuff that we did.
Oh.
But we weren't planning on it. But it was epic, and I'd do it all over again in a heartbeat on a spur of the moment because it was so worth it.
How long was that helicopter ride?
It was close to an hour.
Oh, right. And what did you see?
We saw all of the Nepali. We basically saw the whole island of Kauai. I mean, or at least a good portion of it. Which it rains a lot there, so you can't really experience everything that you want to in a week-long trip.
Yeah.
We saw all the mountains. We saw the Nepali coast. We saw
wow.
We saw everything on waterfalls that I can't even describe, and counting countless waterfalls. Anyway, yeah, the helicopter ride, I would highly recommend dropping a lot of money on a helicopter ride.
Was that? Did you say that was spur of the moment? Was that like an impulse buy, the $800 per person?
Totally impulse.
Love it.
Buy. Neither of us had never done something like that, let alone in Hawaii. It was
neat.
And it was our
well, you
first
made a memory
trip together.
Yeah, that's awesome,
yes.
Danielle. Okay, well, have a fun weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Dave and I talking to our listeners about the priciest experiences they've ever paid for because we're looking at the price of Super Bowl tickets, which I think have been dropping. Still pricey in my world. What did you say, $3,800 or so, Dave?
There you go. The lowest price is about $2,900. So for terrible seats. But again, you have to remember, once you're in the stadium and you're watching the game, it is like any other football game. The seats aren't luxurious. You're shoulder to shoulder. You're kind of, squeezed together. All of the refreshments are very expensive. The memorabilia is outrageous. But you're at the Super Bowl. It's the same thing at a concert, right? You buy a $45 T-shirt that is silk screened on. We just do it. You just pay for it.
You know well in advance where the Super Bowl is going to be held, though, right?
Yeah.
So you can plot your experience accordingly. Like if you just don't want to go to Glendale, Arizona, for example. I mean, my hometown.
Yeah.
I grew up right on the edge of Glendale.
No shade to Glendale.
Yeah, no. I mean, just like if you wanted to do something that was a little different, like, I don't know, it's Miami or something like that, or Las Vegas or whatever, you could know well in advance and you could start saving money. But you got to be sure you're getting it from a legitimate source too, right? What's your hack for that, Dave?
The NFL has a direct link where you can buy it from the NFL. You're paying a premium. You just have to double check, triple check, make sure there's some assurances. Again, when you buy from some reputable sites, Ticketmaster, StubHub,
because
they have.
You've tried to buy in the past. This was concert tickets.
Yep. Yeah. Craigslist,
people
StubHub.
have done that.
Yeah.
People have. Everybody's done that. I always use you as an example because you've had the actual experience of you Venmo'd or Apple paid the guy and then you never got the tickets.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't fall
Thanks
for that.
Thanks for ripping
kind of
that
stuff.
scab open, Deb.
Oh, Dave.
I pay a premium from Oreo.
I'd invite you over to my Super Bowl party, but it's sold out.
Every place has a price, Deb. I just start throwing hundreds at you. You'll be like, well, maybe we could squeeze the Noriega kids in.
Join the smartest conversation in Utah, the team of analysts and political advisors that make up Inside Sources. Get unfiltered analysis of the new administration, the president's cabinet, and Utah's upcoming legislative session. Inside Sources, weekdays from 1 to 3 on KSL News Radio.
Sherry, what have you done to your hair? What do you mean? Does it not look good? It doesn't look good. It looks freaking amazing. I can't believe how thick and healthy it looks. Oh, I must know your secret. No secret. It's hair volume from New Nordic. Hair volume, huh? Well, it certainly lives up to its name. Your hair has never looked so thick. It is gorgeous. I was so tired of having thin and brittle hair.
The action kicks off with the first round of races Friday, leading up to the exhilarating final round on Saturday. The top 10
where are you going? I'm going to pick up some hair volume right now. My reunion's next month, and I want my hair to look as good as yours.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of the many award-winning natural health products from New Nordic, the number one supplier of diet.
Feel the rush, embrace the challenge, and be part of this unique winter spectacle. Don't miss out on this exciting event. Sign up for ski joring and experience the thrill of racing through the snow. For more information, visit bearlake.org. See you at Ski Joring the Bear.
It's the movie show, guys. Andy Farnsworth and Steve Sales broadcasting live from 1600 South Empire Road in Salt Lake City at NPS, the main store. We're joined by Igor. Igor always has great deals for movie show and KSL listeners, but NPS has great deals all the time, Igor. But then you go just a little bit higher and say, let's give him another deal.
Yes. Today we have, because of you guys, the movie show, we have 60% off in clothing.
I already have picked out a shirt.
Yeah.
This is the kind my brother buys in London.
In London, and you found one.
And I found one here that was already 30% off of what its original price, and I just added another 60% off.
So you're paying pennies on the dollar.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Did you call your brother?
Not yet. I've got a picture. I'm going to send him like, hey, look what I got for this price.
Yes. And we had a really nice weather for the past week and a half. It was very nice. But guess what? Winter is coming.
That's right.
We're in the middle of winter.
Yeah, it's finally coming now that we're almost done.
So we have beautiful jackets, coats, and boots. All boots. They're going to be 60% off.
Ooh. These are awesome deals, Igor. NPS does this because you guys get overstock and not returns, but like things that were never made it out to the sales floor. So these are brand new items with their tags on them, and you have so much that you can offer them at great prices because it's like, hey, we got even more we got to put out. So even if you come here today, even if you've been here earlier this week, you can come in today and you can find a whole bunch of new stuff.
Exactly. And also for Sunday, Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
We have big screen TVs, and we're going to give you 10% of our already low price.
Plus snacks. I mean, if you need snacks, you should come to NPS. I am not kidding you. Do not buy your snacks somewhere else first. Come to NPS. You might have your whole party stocked with snacks, and you don't even have to go to the other store.
That is correct.
That's what we love about NPS. We call it a nice place to save, but we also call it the nicest place to save because you won't find deals like this that can be beat anywhere else. 1600 South Empire Road, where we're sitting. Come say hi to Steve.
Uh-oh.
He's got some. He's going to be having some fighting stuff today. He and I are going to go back and forth on our big movie of the week, I believe.
We are? Oh.
I believe we are. So come say hi to us or check out the Orem store at 475 North State.
Were you in a coma?
Or 1150 North Main in Layton.
At Social Security, we are always thinking of ways to save you time and
If you
make
tell me
things
you love
easier.
that movie,
That's why we created My Social Security. A My Social Security account allows you to access your earnings history and benefits information, request a replacement Social Security card, get a proof of income letter, estimate and apply for benefits, and more. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
If you're struggling with your mortgage, there's a free government program that offers expert one-on-one advice about your mortgage options. Call 1-888-995-HOPE or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, and the Ad Council.
People think saving money is hard, but really, it's easy. It's as simple as changing a few spending habits. For free tips on how to save the easy way, check out feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour: Utah State University is looking for a new president after Elizabeth Cantwell announced she is taking the same job at another school.
Cantwell is set to become Washington State's first female president in April. Cantwell led Utah State for a little less than 2 years, one of the shortest tenures in the university's history. Only 2 other Utah State University presidents served for 2 years or less. One was in the 50s, the other was back in 1894.
KSL News Radio's Virl Johansson reporting. A bill to increase penalties for catalytic converter theft is making its way through the House. The bill would make it so the severity of the offense is based on the retail value of the stolen item or items and expands the list of offenses that could be included as part of a pattern of criminal activity. It's now in the full House waiting for a vote. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. The White House says Hamas is soon expected to give Israel a list of hostages that will be released this weekend.
We have heard from one source carefully anticipating that Hamas will eventually send the names in the coming hours and that tomorrow's release will go ahead as planned. But I think it goes to show that everyone is, on edge after those comments by Trump and as negotiations get underway for phase 2 of the deal, a far more complicated uphill challenge.
ABC correspondent Brick Clennett says there are indications that one of the hostages to be freed is an American. Your money at this moment, the Dow is down 299. Right now we're at 44,447. Coming up, the rain should pick up this afternoon. We'll look at this storm coming up. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:32. A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Discover the thrill of winter adventure with Bear Lake Ski Shoring the Bear. Join us for an unforgettable experience on February 21st and 22nd. Whether you're a participant or a spectator, there's excitement for everyone. Spectators get in free, so bring your friends and family to cheer on the competitors. The action kicks off with the first round of races Friday, leading up to the exhilarating final round on Saturday. The top 10 competitors will return to battle it out for the ultimate glory. With no pre-registration needed, simply show up and sign a waiver to join the fun. Compete for a chance to win buckles, cash, and prizes in various divisions. Feel the rush, embrace the challenge, and be part of this unique winter spectacle. Don't miss out on this exciting event. Sign up for ski shoring and experience the thrill of racing through the snow. For more information, visit bearlake.org. See you at Ski Shoring the Bear.
Sherry, what have you done to your hair?
What do you mean? Does it not look good?
It doesn't look good. It looks freaking amazing. I can't believe how thick and healthy it looks. Oh, I must know your secret.
No secret. It's hair volume from New Nordic.
Hair volume, huh? Well, it certainly lives up to its name. Your hair has never looked so thick. It is gorgeous.
I was so tired of having thin and brittle hair. Ugh, and the shedding. So I figured I'd give hair volume a try. Needless to say, I'm thrilled with the results. Hey, where are you going? going?
I'm going to pick up some hair volume right now. My reunion's next month, and I want my hair to look as good as yours.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural health products from New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Scandinavia. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or your local CVS. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Help your hair look full, voluminous, and beautiful again at newnordicusa.com or CVS.
Paid for by government.com. Have you heard? A recent stash of 1902 Morgan silver dollar coins has been found. These gorgeous 1902 silver dollar coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 300 of these Morgan silver dollars are available. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone interested in silver coins. Just call government at 1-800-806-1641, and you are guaranteed a mint condition 1902 Morgan silver dollar featuring the iconic old mint mark of the New Orleans Mint, but with limited quantity. You must call now. These 1902 silver coins are still in uncirculated condition. That is 122 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-806-1641. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $25 value free with every order. Call 1-800-806-1641 now to secure your 1902 Morgan silver dollars before they sell out. That's 1-800-806-1641.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's limited time balance transfer bonus. And here's Jason Jones.
Quite a bit of precipitation now on the Wasatch back, so use some caution if you're driving around up there. But if you're on the Wasatch front, the roads are still dry at this point, and speeds are moving quite nicely along I-15, north and southbound. No real trouble there. And you're looking good on your major feeders over to I-15 as well. The other highways also moving at regular speeds. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advanced healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with Human Kindness is here. Hello, Human Kindness. I'm Jason Jones in the KSL Traffic Center.
The temperatures will be dropping as we head into the afternoon, and that storm moves through, rain in the valley, snow in the mountains. It'll also be breezy. Let's see, the high today will be, 56 degrees, but right now it's 55 downtown. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Who knew that Utah's black vintage license plates would be so incredibly popular? They'd now be facing potentially a new law from Utah's Capitol Hill.
Representative Val Peterson's bill would cap earnings state agencies can make from special plates to $300,000 a year. The rest would go into the state's transportation fund. Jason Gardner with the Utah State Tax Commission tells me the vintage black license plates have brought in over $6 million in just the last couple of years. So if this bill becomes law, the Utah Historical Society could potentially miss out on several millions of dollars a year. And under the proposed cap, he says the black plates would be the only ones affected.
No other special group, state agency special group license plate is even close to reaching the $300,000 threshold.
The bill is still awaiting its first committee hearing on Capitol Hill. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
I had no idea the Utah Historical Society even existed, but looking at their website, Debbie, this was founded in 1897.
Yeah, they've been around for a while.
They've been around. So I don't know how
they these black vintage license plates.
They struck gold on a level that hasn't been seen since the 49ers in San Francisco. The California gold rush of license plates, apparently, because for some crazy reason, black license plate with white lettering just speaks to us as Utahns. It's like, that is my license plate.
I usually decide on my license plate by committee. It's usually a group text with my family because there's too many choices, right?
Skier or delicate arch? What do you mean so many options?
But when I went to buy my RAV, and this is a car I know I'm going to have for 15, 20 years for sure. I just said I'm going to be traveling the country, sleeping in the back of it so I can get to all the Major League Baseball stadiums. And Dave's like, rent an RV. Why would I do that? I would just drive my RAV4. Gets 38 miles, 40 miles to the gallon, and it has a black license plate. So in this case,
You went with the black
I
license
didn't need
plate.
a vote. I knew right away. I wanted the black vintage license plate. Look, vintage is in. I know this because I am a big vintage/thrift store shopper, and y'all are copying me now. So vintage is back. Vintage sweatshirts, vintage purses, vintage cars have always been a big deal. And now the black vintage license plate in Utah, as you said, Davis, struck gold. They brought in $6 million in the last couple of years, and our lawmakers the Historical Society, which I guess, has been responsible for these license plates, they picked the right one.
Well, they get a cut, right?
Yeah.
So every year you have to pay an additional fee if you want a black.
Yeah.
Did you even realize this? You don't even know this?
And I count my pennies. I do. I think I was just so in love with it. I knew right away.
I don't care what it costs.
How long have they been around? A couple of years? Because I bought my Toyota in 2023. And I knew right when I got there, I wanted the black vintage license plate.
Well, let me tell you what you paid for because you have no idea this even existed. You're like, just take my money. I don't care, which is smart. It's a smart business model. Like, do you like it? Do you realize it's going to cost you an additional $21.50? That's the special plate fee.
Okay.
Right? So $20 for the black license, that's fine.
Yeah.
What you don't realize is that there's going to be an additional $25 annual contribution. So for your 15 to 20 years.
Stop it.
Let's do a quick little math here. If you hold your car with your black license plate for 15 years, you've just spent an additional. Oh, that's right. I did the math wrong. Here we go. 25 times 15.
Debbie.
There we go. $375 on your license plate. You and your 15-year car that you claim you're going to have this beautiful black license plate forever. You will have shelled out nearly $400
for the Historical Society.
For the Historical Society.
Well, unless they cap it.
Oh, they're capping it.
They're thinking about capping it.
Oh, they're going to cap it. They're going to cap it because it's a huge amount of money to raise $6 million because people love this so much. They're like, you guys, that's
fair,
a little.
Though? They came up with a good idea.
Okay,
and what does the Historical Society do? You've got the website pulled up over there. You said you didn't know anything about it. Now we can know everything about it.
Okay, yeah, I can do a little research on this.
They take care of our buildings and make sure that people don't tear down old homes that were built in the 1800s and were built with special brick, that kind of thing. They make sure we don't.
Debbie, I have no idea what the society.
I
have no idea what the Historical Society of Utah does.
So, what do you think about this, though? This license plate thing. I mean, maybe this is a way to make money for other state programs.
First of all, it's the best license plate. I can't even argue with that. I don't know if they invented it or if they just said, "Hey, do you think we could maybe get a cut? A little donation on this?" Because I cannot imagine the Historical Society expected on any level that this would be a multi-million-dollar endeavor. The people would fall in love with these black license plates, and then every year, just boom, your $25 is moving straight over.
What license plate do you have?
Skier.
Oh,
I always go skier.
Do you?
Yeah, I like Delicate Arch, but I live in the mountains.
But you spent a lot of time in your younger days down in Moab.
I counted how many times. I tried to do a rough estimation how many times I've made the Delicate Arch hike, and I think it's somewhere around 100 times. 100 times I've hiked Delicate Arch.
And is that a specialty license plate? Are you subjected to the same fees, or is that do you just get it? You pick one or the other.
Yep. No, that's the free one.
Do you think I made a mistake?
No, I think it's the best one. And if you want for $25, right? That's one weekend of a meal, right? That's $25 is nothing.
Way to try to justify it for me.
It's the coolest license plate.
I like helping out causes like the Historical
You
Society.
didn't even know this was a cause. Don't try to spin this. Don't try to pretend like, you know what, I just really appreciate what the Historical Society is doing for this state. and I want to support them in the best way I can. You had no idea they were charging you a premium for that license plate. You're like, oh, this is pretty. I like pretty. I'm going to go with the pretty one.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi. My daughter invited her entire class to her birthday party. Can my Wi-Fi handle it?
Oh, well, at Xfinity, our latest gateways have tri-band Wi-Fi technology, letting you connect hundreds of devices at once.
No way. So if all the kids are watching stuff on their phones, well, their parents are sharing videos online.
Yep, go ahead and watch videos. They can all do their thing and party their way. No problem.
Oh, we are going to need a bigger cake.
Now through March 4th, get fast, reliable Xfinity Gig Internet for $25 a month for 1 year with no annual contract and Wi-Fi equipment included when you add an unlimited mobile line. And ask how to get an eligible free 5G phone with trade-in. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Requires PayPal Split and auto-pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced mobile speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Data thresholds and actual internet speeds vary.
You wouldn't know it, but most financial advisors are put in a box. I'm Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I want to provide you a little insight about financial advisors. Most financial advisors have to sell what their company requires them to sell, and many advisors have to only adhere to what's called a suitability standard. A suitability standard is a limited standard of care, not requiring what's sold to be best, just suitable. Advisors with this loose standard often have limited investment and product selection. Trajan Wealth is held to a fiduciary standard, which is the highest standard of care in the advisory business. And that's just one of the many reasons we have billions of dollars under our care and attract clients from other advisors. Raise your standards today and call Trajan Wealth. Call 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Dave and Dujanovic. The following preview has been rated G and is appropriate for all audiences.
Movie guys are on the line, and I love the movie question of the week, you guys. I know we're going to get to that in just a few minutes after you talk about the big movie of the week. And I love the movie question of the week because I don't have a good answer for it, and I want you all to fill in the blank for me when we get there.
It's so funny because the question is, I'll put it out there so our listeners can just start building it up in your own brain. Name the movie everyone tells you that you should watch that you just haven't gotten around to seeing yet. So is there that movie where everybody's talking about it, like, oh, Napoleon Dynamite, it's unbelievable, it's so funny, it's hilarious. You're like, oh, I haven't seen that yet.
I've seen it.
Napoleon's
you got to give me other movies. You guys are the movie buffs, and you know I love taking your advice. But let's start with the big movie of the week. Hi, Steve. Hi, Andy.
Hi.
Hey.
Well, the big movie of the week is Valentine's related, since, Valentine's Day is next week, and the movie itself takes place on Valentine's Day, and it's called Love Hurts.
I thought that.
Sorry, I didn't know if you were going to play a sound or not.
No,
it doesn't matter.
I don't have anything.
Paused for effect. I paused for dramatic effect.
You did,
Love
and
hurts.
I have nothing here in front of me to
Marvin
there we
Gaye.
go.
I thought a has-been killer like yourself would be scarier.
Who are you?
We worked with your brother. He brought us in to find you after you let Rose go.
Where's the girl? Where's the money?
Tell my brother to back off. We're hiding, and hiding ain't living. If we're gonna stop your brother, I'm gonna need the old you, not the realtor. I told myself that I would never hurt anyone again.
So
What
what
if
if
he changed his mind?
What if we told you that 2 Best Supporting Actor Oscar winners from the last 5 years were going to headline a movie together the
Or
week before
sell
Valentine's
out.
Day? You keep your opinions for a second, Steve. We've got to set the table first before you throw
going
the
to
food all
yank
over
the-
it. Pull the tablecloth out
Right
from
out
under
from
and see
under.
what falls over.
All right, sorry, go ahead.
So you've got Ki-Hai Kwan, who won Best Supporting Actor in Everything Everywhere All at Once 2 years ago.
Yeah,
And
short
you've
round.
got
Best known
Ariana,
as-
also known as Data from Goonies and Short Round from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Oh.
This is his first ever leading role. And then we have Ariana DeBose, who won Best Supporting Actress for West Side Story 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, wow, we're going to put those 2 in the leads. You've got this powerhouse acting. And it's an action rom-com? It's like an action romance? Is it? Kind of is. So what we got is a realtor played by Ki-Hai Kwan. His name is Marvin, and he just gets the regional realtor of the year. And only he also on Valentine's Day gets a note that says an old flame of his named Rose, who's Ariana DeBose, is back. Well, what eventually follows is a whole bunch of assassins showing up to take him out. And because guess what? Mr. Realtor, Mr. Super Nice Guy, was kind of a mob enforcer in a previous life. And
you know how you could tell? Because his hair was slicked back and he had a cheesy mustache.
He did have those things. I'm going to just tell you this. Steve texted me when he finished watching it on Wednesday night and said, this is the front runner for worst movie of the year.
Oh, no.
So when I went in,
staying with that.
I went in with that in mind. So first of all, it was going to have to be like so bad for it to meet that. So I should be thanking Steve. Because I kind of had some fun. And Dave, if you ever watch this movie, I think what you're going to like best is Marshawn Lynch as one of the assassins.
He actually says beast mode at one point when he tackles a dude.
And actually it shows that in the credits. Marshawn Beast Mode Lynch.
Is he
is in the
trademarked that name or something?
Yes, he kind of probably did. But at any rate, it is not for the faint of heart as far as language and violence and blood.
But accurate as far as the
things.
title, hurts is the key word there, as in painful and or awful.
And if the Eagles win on Sunday, a lot of Philly fans will be saying, I love Hurts. Get it?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that makes
Jalen
sense.
Hurts
That
is
is
the
some
quarterback
excellent
for the Eagles.
dad humor there, Andy.
Whoever
Well
wrote
done.
this,
I've got plenty more where that came from.
whoever wrote this script should be flogged, if that's a thing that they still do.
So it's mindless fun and lots of mindless violence. If you have a low tolerance for mindless violence, then this is not your movie. If you like mindless fun, you might have some fun watching this.
And
mindless.
And they're releasing it on Valentine's Day?
No, it's
No,
releasing
it's
today.
Oh, releasing today.
But
okay.
the movie takes place on Valentine's Day.
Okay, sorry. I got a little confused there.
question.
Okay, so releases today. You could, I guess, take your sweetheart to it, Dave.
Okay.
Or somebody you don't like. If you want to break up with somebody, this is it.
I love it. I love that Steve is so salty about this movie.
Back 100 years ago, I had a date to Natural Born Killers. So if you've ever seen that movie, it's like
Nothing says date night like Woody Harrelson is a maniacal serial killer.
Oh yeah, that was.
You went to that on a
rough.
date?
Yeah. Date night.
I'm Natural Born Killers.
You think I would show up to the movie theater by myself to watch it? Yeah, I went with somebody for that. Let's do the question of the week.
Okay,
Name
so the question of the week.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Andy.
Oh,
Go,
no. I was just going to say,
it.
so the movie show question of the week, name the movie everyone tells you to watch that you just haven't gotten around to seeing yet. Because everybody knows people who are like, oh, you've got to see this. And you're like, yeah, I totally should. And maybe you're sitting there and you even could watch it, and then you like binge rewatch a show that you've already seen like 10 times. Because sometimes you just can't get over that little inertia of like, I should watch this.
Oh.
Do I want to watch it right now? But what is that movie that everyone tells you to watch that you just haven't seen?
I figured it out because I read the book and I really appreciated the book, Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh, okay.
It's now streaming. I started to watch it the other night. Then I saw it's like 3 hours and 30 minutes, I want to say, maybe a little bit longer.
It's pretty long.
I got about 5 minutes in. Now, this was released a while ago. I mean, a year or two ago. I read the book quite a while ago, and I just didn't have the stamina past 9 p.m. on a Saturday night to continue to watch it. But I do plan on going back to it. But I've been a little frustrated. Yeah, right. I've been a little frustrated with myself that I haven't carved out enough time to watch it.
Yeah, the one that comes to my mind, and for years, and I've admitted to this, I didn't see Dumb and Dumber until probably the last 5 years, and that was top of my list.
That was your wheelhouse.
I've been laughing about that for 30 years.
Went up
That's
5 levels
Dave.
in esteem for me.
Everybody is like, that was the big shocker. But in Andy, I think I've mentioned this in the past. Caddyshack. Still haven't seen Caddyshack.
Wow. Okay.
Totally a movie that everybody tells me to watch. You'll Andy,
Next
you
Dave's
yourself
gonna say
has
he
said.
hasn't seen Field of Dreams or
Gee,
The
Andy,
Natural.
what's a movie that you should have seen?
Guess what? There is not a movie that anyone has ever told me to watch that I haven't seen.
Yeah.
I don't believe
Oh
that.
my gosh!
I don't have a
0%.
list. I've seen them all.
Sound
Am
of Music?
Am I a ghost? I'm being punked, right?
Sound of Music?
Oh,
no,
I
I've
haven't
seen
seen
The Sound
that
of
either.
Music.
Oh yeah.
Butch freaking Cassidy and the Sundance Freaking Kid.
What?
And you
That's
jumped
the
for
one.
I said. What's the matter with you?
Is this the Three Stooges?
Yeah, they did a version.
You haven't seen Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, Andy?
I have not
There
seen
you go.
Butch Cassidy
Thank you,
and
Deb.
the Sundance Kid. And Virginia Pierce, when she comes on the movie show, is going to let me hear about it again today.
Wasn't that filmed partly in southern Utah?
I believe so.
I'll have to fact check
Had to have
myself on
been.
that. Ask Virginia that.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're being very sarcastic because no one can believe I haven't seen it. And
You
I
know
was
what?
going to
All you
watch
have
it
to do
over
is watch
Christmas.
it.
I
Just
totally
watch
was
it.
going to watch it over Christmas
Now
break.
you're just being a curmudgeon about it.
But that's
Steve,
the other
is
thing
there-
that happens.
is there
There's
one
people
that-
who haven't seen Star Wars and they're never going to see it now because if they've made it this long without seeing it,
Gotta
they're
hold
never
out.
going to do it.
First of all, I've seen every movie almost because I've been around the globe a few times. But I would say, like Scorsese's Mean Streets, that's one movie that I have not seen that I wish I had.
Oh, I have not
Okay.
seen Mean Streets either.
Yeah.
I haven't even heard of Mean Streets, so I definitely haven't seen it.
Well,
Isn't that considered one of his best?
yeah, it's one of his favorites.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, there
my
we go.
list of things that everyone thinks I should see that I have it is pretty long.
It's like a terabyte long.
I have a list, and I'm going to get through it at some point. Maybe,
you don't have that many
probably.
lives.
He's trying to keep up with the current movies right now and having to go to – this is what I don't envy about your job, folks, where you have to go see movies like Love Hurts, and then you don't get to see amazing old movies that, classics. So, you know what? You're taking one for the team, and I appreciate you guys doing that. Thank you
Dave,
so much.
thank you for seeing me.
Yeah, I see
Way to
you.
go
I see
high,
you,
I
buddy.
went low.
Where you have to go to some terrible movies. You're like, Terrifier 9. I've got to see Terrifier 9. Are
That
you
was
kidding
not
me?
as good as 8, but
Not as good as 8. Well, Andy, Steve, best of luck. We're excited to listen to you today on the movie show. We'll turn things over to you right now.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so.